It started on a cold autumn evening, the kind where the wind howls through the trees, rattling the branches like skeletal fingers. Lisa had just moved into a small old house on the edge of town. It wasn't much, peeling wallpaper, creaky floorboards, and a draft that never seemed to go away, but it was hers. The house had been empty for years, the landlord said, and the rent was cheap. Too cheap, perhaps. But Lisa, eager for a fresh start, ignored the nagging feeling in the back of her mind. Her first night in the house was uneventful, save for the occasional groaning of the wood as it settled. But by the second night, she noticed something strange. As she sat curled up on the couch with a cup of tea, she felt it, an odd sensation like someone was watching her. She glanced at the window, half expecting to see a stray cat or maybe a branch moving in the wind. But there, in the reflection of the glass, she saw it. A face. A pale, expressionless face staring at her from outside. Lisa gasped and spun around, but there was nothing. The window overlooked her small, fenced-in backyard. No one could have been standing there, not without her hearing them. She rushed to the back door, turned on the outside light, and peered into the yard. Empty. Just the wind rustling the dead leaves. Shaking her head, she blamed her imagination. Maybe it was the stress of moving in. Maybe it was just a trick of the light. But the next night it happened again. Lisa had just finished washing the dishes when she glanced up at the kitchen window. The glass was fogged from the steam, but as she wiped it with her sleeve, she saw the face again. Closer this time. The same pale, unblinking stare. She dropped the plate she was holding and it shattered on the floor. Heart pounding, she ran outside without thinking. The yard was empty. No footprints. No signs of anyone ever being there. Lisa barely slept that night. She kept every light on, her ears straining for any sound. But the house remained silent. Maybe she was going crazy. Maybe she needed more sleep. On the third night, she decided to prove to herself that nothing was there. She set up her phone on the kitchen counter, pointing it toward the window. If there was something, or someone, out there, she would catch it. She sat on the couch, staring at the window across the room, her heart pounding with every flickering shadow. She didn't dare blink. Midnight came. The house was still. Then at exactly 12:03 a.m. the air changed. The room grew colder. The hairs on the back of her neck stood up. And then, movement. Not outside. Behind her. Lisa's breath hitched. Slowly she turned her head toward the phone. The screen was still recording. And in the reflection of the window she saw it. Not outside. Inside. Right behind her. Lisa never screamed. The next morning, a neighbor passing by noticed the front door standing open. Inside the house was eerily quiet. Lisa was gone. Her phone was still on the kitchen counter, recording. The last frame of the video showed the reflection of the window. And in it, Lisa's own terrified face, just before something pale, faceless, and grinning stepped out of the darkness behind her.